All right, on this episode of Bouts Talking Bouts, excited to be speaking with an individual. It was quite the intriguing fight coming up. It goes down on September the 24th. It is a featherweight affair at One Revolution. Going to be a fun one championship bout. Jae Woong Kim and Martin Nguyen getting out there and testing skills and welcoming Martin onto the show. How's the training going ahead of this one here, man? It seems like you're getting in some pretty elite work at Sanford MMA.
Man, training has been awesome. Training under Sanford MMA, it's like every day it's so surreal, but it's so challenging at the same time.
Yeah, who would you credit as like the main kind of sparring partners for this one? Like, do you kind of tailor your fights to, I guess, working with similar body types or fighters with similar stylistic proclivities, or how has the sparring dynamics kind of worked out for this one?
Everything's dynamic. I worked around with main partner was Sean Soriano, the UFC fighter, and then from there I jumped around with Ange Lusa, who's fighting on the Kim Jae Woong series this Tuesday, and I moved around with Ronnie from the UFC bantamweight fighter. A lot of bodies, different styles, very very dynamic. So it made me kind of adjust and just go with the flow. See, I know what my opponent's going to do, and I know the type of fighter he is. So it's all about me adjusting and preparing well for him.
Yeah, does that come from a certain level of tape study, just seeing your opponent compete in the circuit prior, or like where does the familiarity come?
No, just watching these last two bouts. You're only as good as your last fight. So it's all about adjusting and moving forward and going with the flow and just doing what I do best.
Yeah, and I imagine there's a level of excitement getting out there just because there's been a couple of very unfortunate start and stops with the fights here. You seem to get so close to it, and then like the one on TNT2 fight where you get scrapped because of certain COVID measures. There was like a guy kind of near you on the plane and stuff like that. I mean, I imagine immensely frustrating, but it seems to create quite a timeline for there being that enthusiastic kind of, I guess, cathartic reaction at the end of it, like finally getting to get out there and compete.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was twice. I was meant to be on, I think, TNT3 or 2 or 3, and then that got rescheduled because of close contact to TNT4. But then, that was close contact as well, and man, it was, unbelievable. But you know what? It's, I'd say kind of blessing in disguise. It gave me a bit more time to recoup and just sharpen up my skill set. So, there's no excuses from my end. Come fight night, I'm going to give it my all and show the world why I'm still one of the best in the world. So.
Yeah, well, that's an intriguing facet of this bout for me because the last time you competed was at One inside the Matrix. And like during this pandemic, it's been like admittedly kind of difficult at some times for me to tell how long certain things have been. It seems like time is a bit of an illusory concept in certain regards. I'm like, damn, has it been that long since Martin's competed there? So it's, I mean, imagine you've shored up a ton of skills and just bringing a different version to the table almost.
Yeah, definitely. Look, it has been a long time, almost a year itself. But in saying that, it's almost been a year since the champion has defended. So,
for sure, yeah.
We're kind of rocking like the same boat, but I was scheduled twice at the start of the year to compete, and I was ready both times. It's just unfortunate situations. So, in saying that, this will technically be my third bout this year.
Yeah, I was going to say all of the factors are not immediately within your control. I mean, like I was saying, a lot of the last minute COVID kind of stuff for sure. But this is an intriguing bout because, like, I mean, you have such a long tenure having been the featherweight champion, and I could see just based on the prior resume, I mean, you'd had the belt from 2017 onward for a decent stretch there. Do you think that a victory here gets you right back to that point? Are you almost kind of surprised you're not positioned for that rematch with Ton there, or not so surprised that they're kind of targeting that like Gary Tonin fight for later in the year, it seems?
Yeah, look, at the start of the year when I wasn't offered that fight, I was kind of amazed, kind of let down, but I didn't really get to me too much because I knew it came down to a factor, and I said it before, it came down to that fight with Gary and Kiyomi Mashishima. And so in saying that, if Gary had lost that fight against Mashishima, then I would have thought that I would have got the rematch because it made more clearer. it was just a clearer decision to make. But Gary, he won that fight. He's on like a 5 or 6 fight winning streak, and it kind of made a bit more sense to give him a shot. But when is that shot going to happen? We don't know. I'm like having a fight before then, and so I'd say this would be a clear next contender for the title shot. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and with that fight seemingly being targeted there with, Tonin and Ton Lee, is there any, particular preference you have in that regard? Like, it seems like the Ton rematch is something you obviously want, but would there be a certain desire to fight a guy like Gary Tonin who, has the streak that he's accrued so far, this undefeated contender? Like, is there a preference between a winner in that one, or are you just so uber focused on this fight you haven't even really thought about the machinations of that one there?
Yeah, I don't really care about the other fight. I just care about me getting my hand raised in this next bout and seeing what the future holds.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be an interesting one in the one circle there. I mean, obviously you're focused on your opponent to a degree, but is this appearance almost about like your own pursuits? Just because like we're talking about, it's been a little bit, obviously factors beyond your control. Like, is there going to be a level of like, I guess, relief and kind of enthusiasm when you're in there? Because I talked to Seo Hee Ham a little bit ago, her layoff a bit more pronounced, but she was kind of talking about the relief dynamic out there. Is there maybe going to be those sensations when you're out there in the circle, you're thinking?
If anything, it's motivated me more than relief. Losing that title to my own mistake. I mean, good on Tan for the timing, and he did what he had to do to get the title. But I feel like I lost that because I didn't respect the title, and I didn't respect all of my hard work of getting that title, and so I came to just throw down and not care about getting hurt or injured or anything like that. And Tan came to win. That was pure and simple. He came to win, and yeah, like I just kind of let myself down in that aspect. But yeah, like if anything, it has motivated me to fight smarter, come more prepared, and be a better athlete than the other athlete on the night. So yeah, these times off, I'm still training. This will be my basically 2.5 camps this year. So in terms of ring rust, there's no such thing in my eyes.
Yeah, it's not like you've had like a pronounced injury that's like kept you laid up or anything like that. You've been steadily training and everything like that there. But I was kind of curious about just the general overall timeline in one championship, because you've been with the company for, getting close to 7 years now, and there's been tremendous growth both individually and with the company. So can you kind of talk about that mutual growth and just the relationship with one championship since their, 22nd card there?
Yeah, I'm just like, you know what, I'm just thankful. For me, it wasn't really, obviously we all fight for money and we all fight to prepare ourselves for the future and, get settled in that. But from the get-go, Chatri has been a very, very nice person towards, not only towards me, but towards my wife and my family. And so saying that means a lot. I know there's some promoters out there that probably don't give a shit about their fighters, but, I can say for a fact that Chatri is not one of those guys. And from the get-go, One Championship has looked after my family. They've heavily involved my family into everything that we do, and in terms of promotions and everything like that, my family gets involved. And it's not just about the athlete, because the athlete is only just one little piece. For me, my core value and my core motivation is my family, and they use that. And yeah, it was we're all growing together, and for me, family is everything. And yeah, they looked after me, they look after my family, and I show them loyalty.
Yeah, that definitely comes across in like different even social media kind of posts and stuff like that. Just, proud husband, proud father. It seems like kind of similar almost to like a teammate of yours, like Ong La on Song. Like every time I talk to him, he really has that at the forefront of his focus. Like, I'm a husband, I'm a father. Like, sure, I get to go out there and compete and do something I care about, but those are the, I guess, preeminent parts of my character there.
Yeah, but these are the things that people look back on, what type of person he is, what type of person you want your kids to be looking up to, what kind of person does he portray himself to be. It's that all comes to the factor of inspiring people or wanting your own family member, your own genes, your own kids or family members to follow. You know, it's a huge factor into life and growing itself.
Yeah, and are your kids sort of at an age where they're kind of aware what dad's getting up to professionally, or still not, you know, maybe at that point as of yet?
They know for a fact that dad fights for a living. So in saying that, they get nervous just as much as I do when I watch a TI. Like, for me, when I fight, I never get nervous. I go out there and I do everything that I prepared for. Whenever a teammate fights, or, you know, as much as you know how much they prepared, you still get nervous to a degree, and you're sitting there like in the change rooms or in the locker rooms or watching him on TV like, oh man, I'm so nervous more than my own fight. But if it were anyone else that were fighting you, you wouldn't care. But because you know, and they know, like it's the same factor. Like they know that if dad fights, but you know, it's still that nerve factor. Like, you know, dad's going in there, he's gonna be on TV and he's fighting like basically for his life. So it's, yeah, I know they get nervous. My wife doesn't tell me, but I know for a fact, yeah, they do.
So maybe they're not as drawn to like the martial arts themselves potentially, or is there some level of martial arts involvement from them?
I don't know. Like I'm a respectful guy. They know that how I portray myself is very respectful, and I only be who I am, so my kids know what type of person to be. Like if I was a rat bag, shit talking half the time, then my kids would think like that's normal. Like, you know, that's normal. I can go out in the street and I can do the same thing because my dad does it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, but I'm not that type of guy. I treat everyone with respect, no matter what. And when there's cage door closes, yeah, it's just another fight, man.
Oh yeah, you've always come across like that to me. I guess what I was more so wondering is, like, do your kids practice any kind of martial arts, or do they have their own kind of unique interests that you also kind of get to learn from a bit?
Yeah, they did do martial arts, jiu-jitsu, and, you know, a bit of striking, boxing and kickboxing here and there. But look, I don't force them into anything they don't want to do. You know, like I think my daughter likes playing like flag football or Oztag more than she would like boxing, you know. It's just more of like a team thing, and I'd rather them play in a team sport than you know, go venture on their own for now. I want them to learn like that socialism and, you know, supporting your friends and all that first before, because that's how I started. I played rugby league. I played with a group of 18 guys, and we were constantly with each other, day in and day out, 5 days a week. One day on a weekend we play the game, so 6 days a week, and the weekend was Sunday was our rest day. And so I built the foundation of, you know, helping teammates out, socializing, and learning new things from just from different people, instead of, you know, hands-on, one-on-one with a personal coach or anything like that. So right now they're both doing athletics, track and field. But yeah, they go on and they do their own things. My son plays rugby league and my daughter plays flag football. So yeah, it's just two different worlds there.
No, that's cool. It must be kind of interesting to, like, you know, see what they're getting into and maybe learn a little bit about that kind of stuff too.
100%, man.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear, man. I'm, you know, definitely glad to hear that dynamic going on there. Good to have your different interests and stuff like that. But, you know, we've been talking about the featherweight title here, and I'm kind of curious because, I mean, obviously former lightweight champion, but it doesn't seem like a return to that weight category necessarily has as much interest for you there. Like, what it seems like catch weight fights are maybe more of what you'd be looking at. So, like, maybe like meet in the middle in a sense with some of the lightweight guys. Is that a fair characterization of potential future bouts?
Like, why would I want to give my opponents like a full 7 kilo advantage or minimum 5 kilo advantage? That's huge, man. So if they really want to fight me, then by all means meet me halfway. Like, why would I completely go up and put myself and my life and my body at danger when I walk around such a lightweight, and yeah, just to prove ego? Like, why? I don't need that. I don't need that in my life. I'd rather fight at featherweight for the rest of my life and be happy, you know. But if they really want to challenge me, then meet me halfway. Do a bit of the diet, do a bit of the weight cut, and meet me at 73 kilos, whatever it is, and I'll meet you there. Like, we got ourselves a fight. But yeah, we'll see what happens, man.
I mean, that's definitely fair. I mean, you've competed from bantamweight to lightweight, so just even with that logic, I mean, you look right in the middle, and it's like, oh, featherweight would probably be the lane there for sure. I guess just there's certain, fan dialogue about like, oh, well, he was the lightweight champ for a while, beat Christian Lee and everything like that. Like, have you been following what Christian Lee has been doing? Was there any point of getting a bit of an itch? Like you said, it's not an ego thing to go up to lightweight, already proven yourself as champion, but was there any kind of sense of like, this guy seems to be doing pretty well as champion, I've beaten this guy twice, maybe I do one more lightweight bout, as it were?
Nah, Christian's a great champion. He's done his own thing. He's grown. He's grown as an athlete. He's grown in general. He's gotten better. He's gotten stronger. And he's got good people around him. So, he's a great champion. He's done his thing. He's got the title. He's defended it multiple times now. Me going up to lightweight to get that title, that's an ego challenge. I'm not about that. So, if Christian wants to get that third title or third bout going, he knows where to find me. He can, if he says that he can still cut down to featherweight, then I'm here. Like, I got nowhere to run. I'm not running nowhere. If you want to fight me, come back down to where I beat you.
Fair enough. I imagine that logic also extends to bantamweight because you had a pair of bantamweight title bids, but maybe that's a bit of an ego move too. Stick it out at featherweight too.
Yeah, featherweight is where I feel most healthiest, most strongest, and like most at ease. The first bantamweight cut that I did against Bibiana, I felt amazing. I just didn't have the skills to back it up and close the show when I was ahead. And that's where Bibiana's experience came in. The second cut down to bantamweight, I was fighting for my life, basically, how I felt.
Yeah, you don't want to be doing that when you're getting ready for competition, so definitely fair, man. But another featherweight accolade you had there was, the brace featherweight champion in Australia, and it just seems like there's been a tremendous amount of growth with the Australian MMA scene since then. Can you kind of talk about all of that there, because it seems like it's seemingly growing by the month?
This sport is a forever growing sport, and people nowadays are being born into it. Like, whereas before you would have to do like multiple martial arts, and you come into it and you'd kind of have to put it together. But now it's like become just a sport of its own, where they're teaching the basics of every other sport in one sport. And the Australian scene is progressively growing, man. We have a huge talent pool in Australia. And yeah, man, it's only going to keep getting better and better. Not only saying Australia, like there's New Zealanders all around the world. Everyone's just getting better at the sport. And if you're not growing and growing with the sport and progressing with the sport, then you're going to get left behind.
Yeah, exactly. You got to develop or you'll kind of regress and get left behind for sure. But usually when I have fighters on, I ask about the, music preferences that might exist. Like with Sanford guys, I've heard that Jason Jackson is usually pretty good at picking the tunes there. So do you usually defer to Jason Jackson, or are there certain genres you like to put on in training?
Henry puts on the best beats to train.
Oh, yeah.
Henry has the best house music, electro music, progressive music that kind of pumps you up and you want to move along with it. Jason Jackson plays some pretty good reggae, and when he jams to it, when he's jamming while warming up, if whoever's going against Jason is going to have a hard day because he gets into like a good rhythm, and he's definitely a future champion, 100% for Bellator. But in God's time, man, he'll prevail. But in terms of tunes, man, a lot of the guys hit those tunes, but I think Henry's got the best tunes.
So you usually defer to Henry. Are there any certain tunes you like to put on yourself, or just kind of down for whatever? You're just vibing either way.
All my music is like rap-ish. It can go from rap-ish to R&B real quick, and then like a love song even quicker. So I'm all over the place and I jam to multiple pieces of music. But yeah, with Henry, it's like when it comes to training, he's got some pretty good beats that you listen to. So.
Well, it's awesome. I'm glad some love being shown to Henry Hooft. I mean, I mean, you got a lot of great DJs there. I love seeing that there. But
a lot of people that have control over that bump box. But yeah, I think when the boss is in the room, the boss takes control. And when the boss plays his tunes, you better be moving. So.
Oh, no, fair enough there, man. And also, I noticed you had the post on Instagram a bit ago there about the javelin record you still have in high school 20 years after the fact. Like,
how crazy is that?
Where does that rank in terms of your overall athletic accomplishments in your life? I mean, 2 decades, that's pretty fucking strong.
2 decades is huge, man. As a boy, as a 12-year-old boy that did not care about throwing that javelin, I only threw it because I wanted to be with my friends in that class that was doing it at that time. He goes, if you're going to do it, you got to participate. Otherwise, move on to the next station, which I think it was like shot put or something like that. And I was like, I don't really care. I'll throw it. I didn't care. So they threw it, and I grabbed it, and I did the run up, and I threw it, and I walked off. And they said to me that it was the longest throw of the day. And then they done the calculations afterwards throughout the records, and I had the record, and yeah, it was crazy. I was like, what? I didn't even mean to do it.
So it's like the start of like a campy movie or something like that. Like you begin a career after that, just throwing javelin or something like that.
I know. Imagine if I had like a proper warm up, or
yeah.
Even if I warmed up, like I remember it was just like a normal day, clear, like cold morning ish, and I just grabbed it and I threw it. And yeah, imagine if I warmed up and stretched and everything like that, and had somewhat of technique of throwing a javelin. I just threw it like I threw a football. So it was crazy. It was crazy. It landed, it stuck, and yeah, it was almost 20 meters for a 12-year-old boy. I mean, in saying that, I beat all the Islanders in school. Yeah, the Islanders in school there were huge, and they were super strong, and I beat them. So I was like, man, that's saying something.
Yeah, there you go. I appreciate some insights on that because I thought that was a fun post there. But you've been also really great with your time, man. I want to be mindful of the rest of your schedule here for sure, though. So to that point, is there anything you might want to add kind of as a parting thought as we're wrapping up here, man?
No, I'm good, man. I appreciate you for having me on.
Yeah, it was an awesome chat, man. Appreciate the insights, and I think I'm really going to appreciate this fight here. And the One Championship fan base can peep that. Jae Woong Kim taking on Martin Nguyen. It goes down at One Revolution on September 24th, a featherweight affair inside the One Circle. And yeah, just to reiterate, great having you on, and appreciate the insights and all that, man. Best of luck with the remainder of the prep leading into this one, and just also have a good rest of your day too.
Thank you, Dylan. I appreciate you, man.